Hello, everybody. Let me see. All right, now that you guys can hear me, thankfully, um, I am going to be talking about a very important topic, and it is something that is very near and dear to my heart. It is the dangers of cane sugar. So it is and it's an ingredient that it's in so many foods. People don't even realize it. It does have a lot of negative side effects that people don't realize, and it's a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. So forgive me, I'm trying to repeat everything that I had just said, but I have diabetes that runs on both sides of my family. So on my mom's side and on my dad's side, I have diabetes. And so it's something that I really have to be careful for. Um, Give me 1 second, you guys. I want to thank y'all again for coming on here. And I am trying to get this set up here real quick on Rockfin. Let's see here. And so here, I am going to put this on here and set this up for everyone on the Rockfin channel to be able to see this. I will have to add a description later, but I'm going to get this going here. And so cane sugar, it is a very popular ingredient that is found in so many foods that many people do not realize. And let's see here. I really wanted to talk about this just because I feel like it's not talked about enough. A lot of people, there's people on both sides saying that sugar is good, it can be good for you. And then there's people that are saying that it's really bad for you. And so I wanted to talk about this because it is one of the world's most addictive substances, that cane sugar. And this episode might seem a little bit like it's a little bit of fear mongering, but honestly, I'm just sharing facts and my personal experiences with y'all. So if it seems like fear mongering, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not what I'm trying to do, even though what I'm talking about is actually pretty scary. So this show can really go in so many different directions, but I'm really going to try to focus on talking about specifically cane sugar. And so I am going to talk about other stuff, in regards to that, but I'm going to really try to stick to cane sugar because there's so many different levels and nuances and things like that that I could get into, but then it would be like a 5-hour show, and I'm not really trying to do that today. So I wanted to go over some popular sayings first that I hear regularly in regards to sugar. When I'm talking to people just out in the real world or at jobs and out in public and things like that. Um, some of the real popular sayings that I hear are, I don't like sweets, so I don't eat sugar. Or I eat sugar and I've eaten it my whole life and I'm fine. Or my parents ate sugar and they're fine and they're healthy. And then another one is just a little bit of sugar won't hurt. And so I want to break down my thoughts on on each of these sayings. And so the first one, when people say, I don't eat sugar, I want to ask, I want to say that that is a lie. And I'm going to go ahead and destroy that lie right now because there is sugar in so many foods that you would never even think that food has sugar. And especially if you don't read ingredients, it's very easy to overlook the amount of sugar that you're consuming on a regular basis. And so I have a list here of foods that I wrote down that do have cane sugar usually in there or some other form of sugar, but some of these are, and you wouldn't, these don't fall under desserts. So I try to really stick to that, like savory foods. So some of these foods are deli meats, bacon, salad dressings. I used to love salad as a kid. I was actually talking about this with a couple people yesterday that I was the kid in elementary school that would always get the big chef salad, but then I would drown it in ranch. And and so we think that we're doing good. We think that we're eating vegetables and salads and the dressing on them, but the dressing is actually like the worst part of salads. And a lot of them, especially like the more fruity ones, are going to be riddled with sugar and all kinds of other stuff too. But that's not what we're talking about today. So lots of salad dressings have sugars, even the ones that aren't really sweet. Or you wouldn't think that are sweet because we're so accustomed to eating stuff with sugar in it all the time that when we eat something that is slightly sweet, we don't taste the sweetness because we eat so much sugar on a regular basis. Other things are healthy sport drinks or electrolyte mixes. I take electrolytes. I actually have the one that I take here. I use this one. It's salty, I believe it's how it's pronounced, SALTT. And no sugars in this, but every time I see a new electrolyte brand or a new electrolyte mix, I get all excited. And I learned after picking up a few containers and looking at the back of the ingredients that a lot of them actually have cane sugar in it. And it's like, why would you put sugar in electrolytes? It's not gonna it's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help. And so I just thought that one is crazy too. We drink these things thinking that we're doing good for our bodies, that we're supplementing ourselves with minerals and electrolytes, when in reality there's this hidden poison that's in there. And other things are like barbecue, ketchup, other condiments, bread, peanut butter, fruit juices. Sometimes, I'm not 100% against fruit juices. I don't really drink them regularly, but sometimes I want one for a certain recipe or something, and I'll go to the store, I'll grab one thinking that it's just mango juice or hoping that it's just mango juice. After being someone who reads ingredients constantly, I have learned over time that most juices are not just the fruit juice. You would think if it says mango juice that it's all just mango juice, but it's not. And so a lot of the juices actually have sugar hidden in them. And it's just a filler, or because the fruit is not tasting very good, it's not good quality fruit, or it's not ripe, but they need to make it. And so they'll add water and sugar to the fruit juices. Other things that you wouldn't think have sugar in them are spice blends, soups, like canned soups, or maybe even like frozen soups. I don't know, but I know like I've seen canned soups have cane sugar in them, and then also non-dairy milks. So I don't know which brands or whatever, but I know that there's like a majority of, especially the flavored ones, like if you get the vanilla almond milk or vanilla coconut milk or vanilla whatever milk, it's going to have cane sugar in it. And even if it's just a little bit, it still has cane sugar in it. So if you eat conventional foods, I highly urge you to check these foods for their sugar content. If you think you're not eating sugar, but you eat any of those foods that I just listed and and you haven't read the ingredients of them, I highly recommend you check out those ingredients because there might be hidden sugar in there. So the next saying is, I ate sugar my whole life and I'm fine. How fine are you? Are you thriving with no major physical or mental health problems? Are you able to regulate your blood sugar throughout the day? Are you able to keep your mood, emotions in a steady and manageable state? Is your energy stable from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed? Are you medication free? If your answer is no to any of these questions, it might be a good time to take a good look at your sugar consumption. People say that they're fine all the time, but it's just because we've gotten accustomed to being uncomfortable, and we've gotten used to waking up tired. We've gotten used to living with joint pain just because we're in our 30s or 40s. We think that that's normal because it happens to so many people. So many people in the world today, especially in America, think that having joint pain, having trouble picking things up, having trouble going up and down stairs, having these little issues, it's so common nowadays that people think that it's normal to feel like that. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not normal to be sick and tired all the time, especially if you're only in your 30s or 40s, and dare I say even 50s. I know so many people in the health space that I follow, that I've known for years, and that I've met in person in their 50s that are healthy and thriving and stronger and like way stronger and healthier than many people half of their age. And so I know that it's possible to be healthy and thriving in your 50s. So that might upset some people. Some people might not believe me when I say that, but I literally know people that are in the 30s to 50s that are healthy and thriving. And so I just kind of want to bring that up, that when people say that, oh, I'm fine, what do you think fine means? Because I don't think it really means what you think it means. And so if you are not thriving, if you're not waking up with energy ready, like I'm not saying you have to be like springing up out of bed and be like, oh, I'm ready for the day, and like ready to go run a marathon as soon as you get up. But it's normal to wake up and have energy to get up and go make your breakfast, get on with your day, feed your kids, do whatever you got to do. That is normal. It's not normal to wake up and be ready to go back to sleep. It's not normal to wake up and have your body be in so much pain and be so inflamed that it's difficult for you to even just roll over and get up on your 2 feet. That is not normal. Just because it's common doesn't mean that it's normal. Just because that a lot of people live that way, and a lot of people have gotten used to being that way. And that's the main thing, is that people just get used to it. And people just get comfortable being uncomfortable, and then it like rewires your brain thinking like, oh, this is my life, this is my body, this is how it runs in the family. And this is, my dad struggles with this, my mom struggles with this, everybody in my family has joint pain, everybody in my family is lethargic and doesn't wake up with energy. That's not normal, you guys. You should be able to wake up, you should be able to get up and go do the things that you need to do. And I might get some hate for this because I know a lot of people love it, but you shouldn't need a cup of coffee just to go do whatever you need to do during your day. Sorry, I'm not sorry. um a lot of people, like, I don't want to get into that. That's because, like I said, like there's so many things that I could trail off to on this episode. But the main culprit about this episode is cane sugar. Like I said, it's very near and dear to my heart, and I'll be sharing some sad stories with you because, like I said, these are just facts that I'm sharing with you guys, as well as my personal experience in my life and my family's life with cane sugar. And so hold on, let me see. I don't want to trail off too much. So the next saying um, that I want to cover is, just a little bit of sugar won't hurt. Well, have you ever heard of food addiction? I know I've talked about it on my show before, but food addiction is a real thing, and it is something that many people struggle with, myself included. I have my food addiction mostly under control now, thankfully. And but it's still something that I see a lot of people struggle with, and it's not something that is talked about regularly. And I have a friend who, she came on my show, and we did talk about it. So if you guys want to check it out, it's the episode that I did with Mary, and it was a really good show, so informative. So definitely recommend to check that out. But food addiction is a real thing, and I think a major culprit of that is cane sugar. They did a study on lab rats, comparing. They had one group that was being given Oreo cookies, which is sweetened with cane sugar, and then the other group was given cocaine. And guess which one they were more addicted to? Not the cocaine. And so that is like one example that I do like to share a lot, because I think that is so crazy. And you can say whatever, rat, we are not rats, whatever. It still applies. People are addicted to sugar. It tastes good. And it gives you that quick boost of good, feeling good. But it comes with detrimental side effects. If you are, like I said, if you are consuming sugar and you are not thriving, this episode is for you. This information is for you. So if you're not thriving, definitely, look into your sugar consumption, and maybe look into a little bit more about food addiction, because it is a real thing. And somebody with food addiction, an addiction is addiction. It does not matter what you're addicted to. It is an addiction, and you are going to put priority to get that thing inside of you or whatever, no matter what. And it's very hard to break addictions as well. So like one example that my friend Mary gives a lot is, you wouldn't tell an alcoholic to just drink a little bit of beer or drink a little bit of liquor, or, you know, whatever their drink of choice is. If somebody is an alcoholic, if somebody is addicted to alcohol and they want to get better and they're trying to get better, you're not going to tell them to drink in moderation. That's just not how getting over an addiction works. Not everybody can consume stuff sparingly. Not everybody can just eat a little bit of sugar. Not everybody can just have one drink every few months or once a year or whatever. Like, you know, there's all kinds of different things that you can be addicted to, but I firmly believe that cane sugar is one of them, especially because it's hidden in so many foods. Like, I don't know how many foods examples I gave earlier, but it's so many things. And then especially when you go out to eat, people will put sugar in mashed potatoes and just and rice, like fried rice. Like, you wouldn't expect sugar to be in these things. And then you're like, oh my gosh, it's so good. Why isn't it this good when I make it at home? Well, have you tried sprinkling sugar in it? Because you probably haven't. Because why would you put sugar in a savory dish? And I'll admit, like, I used to be a sugar addict. I was proud of it. I was like, I can't live without sugar. I have to eat sugar. I love sugar. I'm going to eat sugar for the rest of my life. I literally said those things. So I have a long, big history with sugar. I loved sugar. I loved sweets. I ate all the processed. Sorry, guys. Got a little excited there. I ate all the processed sugar stuff. I loved baking, and I still love baking. But I was proud to be a sugar addict. And it is so funny to say that because I am obviously not a sugar addict anymore. But, you know, I remember growing up, like my mom, she would always make fresh strawberry jelly. And you would think, oh, homemade strawberry jelly, it must be so much healthier for you than buying the stuff from the store. Well, I mean, it is healthier in a sense that it doesn't have corn syrup. It doesn't have it doesn't have like artificial colors or artificial preservatives and things like that. But it was still so much sugar. I remember still, like, I'm envisioning the kitchen right now of where my mom made the strawberry jelly, and this is something she did every year. And she would put so much sugar. It was crazy. And even as somebody that ate sugar and loved sugar, like, I would still look at it and be like, that's a lot of sugar. But then I'd be like, oh, no wonder it's so good. It's the best strawberry jelly ever. And like, my whole family were fiends for it. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding you. We were all fiends for that strawberry jelly. And I know it's because of the sugar, because strawberries on their own aren't addicting. You can't eat 5 pounds of strawberries just because they're so good. But when you mix it with tons and tons of sugar and you cook it down and you make it into that yummy jelly, I could eat that stuff all day, every day. And we did. And I would literally just eat toast with a big glob of jelly and butter on top, and that would be my breakfast. And no wonder I wasn't able to keep up my grades or stay up during class and things like that. So, you know, I grew up eating a lot of sugar. I loved baking stuff. I loved eating all that stuff. And like I said, like the salads, you know, I would cover it in dressing. I would sometimes get like that raspberry vinaigrette, thinking, oh, vinaigrette, it's healthier than ranch. I was like, no, not really. They still have seed oils. They still have sugar. They still have who knows what in it, and preservatives and all that stuff. So yeah, sugar is really big, something that I grew up with eating a lot of. And, you know, and I remember putting it in savory foods. Let me see here. I think the internet is not good today. It's looking like I'm cutting out here. So give me 1 second, you guys. I'm going to check something here to make sure that it is streaming okay. It's not looking like it's streaming good. Let me see here. It might just be my computer also. So cane sugar, diabetes. I have some things here that I listed. Some things that cane sugar specifically is usually linked with, and these are just some negative health effects. Oh, so I think my internet is not working, actually. Let's see if somebody's in the comments, if y'all can let me know if things are looking okay. It looks like it's frozen. Why is my internet like that? We will see if this will clear up, if anybody can let me know if you guys can even hear me, because it's not looking good over here, you guys. Let's see. Okay, I think we're back live. Sorry about that. I'm not really sure what happened there. Looks like it's frozen again. I might have to finish this episode. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're back on. And let me see. Okay, you guys. I see I may or may not have a few viewers on here. Let's see. I'm gonna check over here on Rockfin, make sure that everything is streaming all right. Loading. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry about that technical difficulty. Not really sure what happened there. But I am back and I don't remember what I was talking about. So, oh yes, so I have this list here of some negative health effects that cane sugar specifically is linked to. And so I have this list here. So some things that cane sugar can cause are weight gain, and I want to actually rephrase that as fat gain, because you can fat or water gain, because you cannot cannot gain muscle weight by eating sugar. I can guarantee you that. But fat and water gain, you can definitely gain that by eating sugar. Type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And then also, unlike natural sugars found in fruits, it's basically void of nutrients and any health benefits. It is just empty calories. High sugar consumption can also contribute to inflammation, chronic conditions like obesity, fatty liver disease, even certain types of cancer. And yeah, the diabetes one is a really big one for me. I have helped people personally when I used to do carnivore coaching. I have helped people get off of their insulin just by cutting sugars out. The crazy thing about diabetes with doctors that makes me so mad is that most conventional doctors will tell you, oh, you have diabetes. It's okay for you to eat sugar. Actually, you need to keep eating sugar, but you have to eat it in small amounts. And you have to eat it all throughout the day to make sure you're stable, your blood sugar is stable. And that is just simply not true. Not true at all, you guys. I don't care if you're a doctor. That's not true. I mean, it will keep your blood sugar stable throughout the day, but it's not going to help your body regulate your blood sugar. Your body is still going to be dependent on that, and it's still going to constantly need that unless you cut it out. If you cut out cane sugar and you have diabetes, your blood sugar will control itself. If you are eating a healthy diet full of high quality animal proteins and high quality clean fats such as butter, avocado oil, coconut oil, real olive oil, and things like that, animal fats too, like beef tallow is one of my favorite fats. And if you're eating that stuff and replacing the sugar with high quality whole foods, animal source protein, beef, eggs, chicken, fish, and the good fats, your blood sugar will regulate itself. I promise you. As long as you're eating enough, you do have to make sure you're eating enough so you don't spiral out and go eat a donut or go eat a cookie because you didn't eat enough food and you're craving sugar because your body needs energy and you're just so accustomed to reaching for something sweet. Your body, you can regulate your blood sugar. You can get off your insulin just by changing the foods that you eat. And I know it's scary and I know it's hard, but life's already hard. So which hard path do you want? Do you want the one where you're going to have to take insulin shots and you're going to have to constantly be feeding yourself with sugar and always have to worry about if you're going to be able to last without eating sugar? Like if you're traveling, if you're going on a flight and you forgot your insulin or you forgot a cookie or you forgot this, whatever, do you want to live that difficult life, or do you want to live the difficult life of eating healthier foods, eating more nutritious, more sustaining foods, to where you don't have to worry about if you brought your insulin. You don't have to worry about if your sugar is going to crash and you're going to faint and pass out and need a hospital and need an ambulance to come rescue you. That's the path that I chose, because I've seen diabetes affect my family in the worst way possible. It affected my mom. My mom actually passed away from diabetes. It is on her death certificate, and it is the craziest thing. And it's what really pushed me in my health journey, because it wasn't until after she passed away that I found out all this information. Because the doctors don't tell you this. The doctors don't want to help you heal. The doctors just want to put a band-aid on it because they want you to come back so they can help you get rid of that scar. They want you to keep coming back so they can keep giving you more band-aids when you run out. They want you to come back because they get paid big money to give you that medication. They get paid big money to give you that shot. They get paid big money to give you all these poisons and chemicals that are not really helping you. They're not solving the problem. They are just putting a band-aid on it. And so it really upset me, and it really put me on an anti-sugar path. After my mom passed away, she was dealing with diabetes for several years before she passed away. And I want to share with you guys some of these horrific, I wish I had pictures to show you guys of this stuff that can happen, but I decided not to, because it's really gory, it's really disgusting, and it's really sad. But I do want to tell you guys about it because it's very important. And like I said, I'm not fear mongering you. I'm telling you my life experience. And if you want to deny the facts of the things that I lived through, that's fine, whatever. But this is what I went through. These are the things that I saw with my own eyes. And my mom loved sweets. She loved her Coca-Cola. She loved her sweet coffee in the morning. She loved her pans from the Mexican bakery with her coffee. She loved those cookies, those little animal cracker cookies, and put them in the coffee and all that stuff. She loved home baked goods. She loved ice cream. She loved Bluebell. She loved all that stuff, and she was addicted to it, just like I was, just like most of my family was, and still is, actually. And I saw my mom addicted to these things, and I was just starting to get into my health journey and starting to get into natural stuff, but I didn't know. I did not know how that you could cure diabetes. I did not know that you could change your diet to take control of your blood sugar. I had no idea. Nobody ever taught me that. Nobody ever talked about that anywhere. Even though I was like reading stuff and researching stuff online about other sugars. I know I had started switching to more natural sugars around that time, but I wasn't like super against cane sugar. And so I see my mom, going to all these different doctor's appointments. And I was trying to give her like natural supplements, and there was a natural supplement that did help her, actually, and it's a nopal cactus extract. I know some people know that nopal is supposed to help with blood sugar, but I think the extract does a little bit of a better job than if you eat the fresh nopal. But it's a big, it's because, and I'll tell you why I think that, because nopales is a very popular food in the Mexican culture, and Mexican people eat nopal cactus on a regular basis, but a lot of them still have diabetes. So I don't think just eating nopal cactus is going to cure your diabetes. But I did see with my mom, she was taking the nopal cactus among 20 plus other medications. None of them had anything to do with blood sugar, and some of them were double medications, I ended up finding out. But when she started taking the nopal cactus extract, she shortly, I think it was like a week or so, maybe a couple weeks after her taking that the her blood sugar was normal in the morning when she woke up. And so then she thought that she was cured, and she thought that she could stop taking the nopal cactus. But if, like I said, if you're still eating all that sugar every day and all day, every couple hours, your blood sugar is not going to regulate itself no matter what kind of supplements you take. And but nopal cactus is one that I do recommend you check out if you do want to, if you do have blood problems regulating your blood sugar. Nopal cactus extract is a good one to look into. But yeah, I gave her that, but she was still drinking her little Cokes in the morning and still drinking sugar in her coffee. And like I said, like, I'm not saying I didn't do this stuff growing up. I put lots of sugar in my coffee. Like, as a kid, my mom let me drink cappuccinos when we went to restaurants. And, I would get coffee, and I remember like putting like 4 or 5 packets of sugar in there, if not more. Like, it was crazy. I ate so much sugar too. So I'm not like trying to bash her and say that I ate so much better, because no, like that's where she was the one feeding me. So I was eating all this stuff too. Um, but I was still seeing her eat all these sugars. And, and then she stopped taking the no-paw cactus pills. And of course, her blood sugar was not able to regulate itself again. So my mom's diabetes just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm going to share with you some of these horrific side effects that she had to deal with. So one major thing was that she had to start going to dialysis. If you're not familiar with what dialysis is, let me go ahead and break it down for you real quick. It is this big machine that is supposed to clean your blood. So you go to this dialysis place, you sit in a bed. They say it's 3 hours, but it's always 4. She had to go 3 times a week because her diabetes took over her body so bad that when you have diabetes, it takes longer for your body to heal. It takes longer for your body to clean itself. And her body was at that point where she was incapable of cleaning her blood on her own. Her body was malfunctioning straight up. And so you have to go lay in this bed, and you have to get connected to this huge machine that pumps your blood out, cleans it, and then pumps it back in. And it took several hours. Can you imagine 12 hours out of every single week, not including if she had to wait before to get in the bed or after, for somebody to pick her up. And then she's there all by herself. Like I didn't live in the town where she was. And I'll admit, I could have been a better daughter taking care of her. I did get her last couple months of her life, but that this is what the story is. This is how it was. I can't change it. So, she's over there by herself 12 hours a week in this, connected to this machine in this building full of all these LED lights and other sick people, and it was, it's not a good environment to be in. So you can imagine how, damaging that is to your mental health as well, just sitting there and having to deal with that. So she had to start going to dialysis, and that took a toll on all of my family because we all had to figure out how to get there, how to pick her up, and, be on that schedule as well, because we didn't want her to die. And so dialysis is one thing that you can look forward to if you want to stick with your diabetes and you want to stay with eating your sugar, and you want to just live taking insulin for the rest of your life. You can look forward to going to dialysis, because that is what's going to happen if you don't do anything about it. And so my mom was getting tested on. The doctors just took her over here, do a test here. Oh, we're going to test here. They look for the weakest person, and they tell you that you need to do these things, or else it's going to be really bad for you. And so that's why I have a little if with doctors. I am not 100% against doctors. I'll go ahead and get that out of the way, because I believe in doctors, like, especially if you need like a major surgery or something like that. Like I do believe that there is a time and place for doctors, but the doctors were testing on my mom so much. It was so sad to see. She was in and out of hospitals, in and out of doctors' offices on a regular basis. And she started to, like I said, when you have diabetes, it's harder to heal your body. So my mom had gotten some sort of cut or something on her foot. It got infected. It never healed. It started to literally rot. I don't remember what it was called. It did have a specific name. I don't remember it off the top of my head. It was several years ago now. And I remember that her toes just started to turn black, just literally rot, turn black. Can you imagine your toes turning black and rotting? Can you imagine that? Because I had to see that. And then nothing was fixing it. The doctors were just testing her. They were just giving her different medications and saying, oh, this works, if this works, if this, nothing worked. And this stuff makes me so mad, because I know how to fix that now after the fact, and it's so infuriating. But that's why I come on here to share this stuff with you, because I don't want you guys to experience the pain and suffering that I had to with my family. And so her toes turned black, her foot turned black, and guess what? It kept going up, and they had to cut her leg off. They had to amputate her leg from the knee down. Gone. My mom had one leg from diabetes, you guys, not from anything else, from diabetes alone. And so that's why this cane sugar topic is a very, very big topic for me. And so they had to amputate her leg. So next thing that happened to her, she was in and out of the hospital. She was in the hospital for a little while at one point. And you know, when you have diabetes and you're in the hospital, the nurses have to constantly check your blood sugar throughout the day. And it's typically checked on your finger. Well, like I said earlier, people with diabetes have a hard time healing. So you would think that these nurses and doctors know that. You would think that these doctors and nurses would not prick the exact same finger the 10 plus times a day that they need to prick her finger to check her blood, because how is that finger going to heal if she's already having a hard time healing because she's diabetic and has been diabetic for years at this point? They kept pricking the same finger till that turned black. Not even kidding. I know I have a picture of it on an old phone somewhere, but I don't need to go back and look at a picture, because that is a mental image that is burned into my memory for the rest of time, because that's what happens when you have diabetes and you get pricked in your finger every single day for so many days. Your finger just starts to rot and turn black because you're not getting any circulation there. Your body's not able to heal itself well, and her finger turned black. And guess what? They just switched to another finger. They switched to her thumb. And you can bet your butt that the same thing started happening to that finger. Like, and it's so crazy because nurses nurses choose to be a nurse because they want to help people. But they're not taught how to heal people. That's not what you're taught in the medical industry, unfortunately. The medical industry teaches you how to be in sick care, not in health care. Excuse me, guys. And it was the craziest thing. I could not even believe that they would, like, and I wasn't even as knowledgeable as I am now, but I knew that people with diabetes, like, I knew why this was happening. And I was like, why don't you switch to all of the fingers? Like, when you come, like, do a different finger. Why do you have to prick the same freaking finger 30 times in the 24-hour period? Like, that is not okay. It's abuse, if you ask me. If you know this information about diabetics, that they have trouble healing, why would you do that? You're like putting them in a position for their finger to turn black, for their finger to rot and turn black. Like, I'm not even like exaggerating when I say black. It was black. Her finger was black, black, black. And they just did it to another finger. Another issue that happened, because she was in the bed so much at the hospital and at home, she eventually wasn't able, to walk around. They cut her leg off. Thanks, diabetes. So, she's sitting on her butt and on her back. She's laying on her back all the time. So she eventually gets a bed sore. Well, instead of propping her up on a pillow and making sure she's not on her back all the time, because she's diabetic, and when you're diabetic, you can't heal us properly. You can't heal us fast. You can't heal us well. Her bed sore got so big, you guys. It got so big. Like, I'm not even kidding. It was this big. It got so bad because she was in the hospital all the time. The nurses weren't propping her up on a pillow properly. They weren't keeping her off of her back. Nobody was. And she was incapable of doing it herself. Her bed sore just kept getting bigger and bigger, because even if you put a bandage on that, even if you put whatever ointment on that, it's not going to heal if you are still laying on it. And, and if you're wearing a diaper and you have waste and it's right there in the same area, how is that supposed to heal if it's covered in waste and it's not clean, and you're diabetic, so your body can't heal as well? And I'm repeating myself that much on that so much because you would think that these nurses would understand that with somebody with diabetes. You would think that they would take the necessary steps to prevent things and to help people with diabetes so their wounds are able to heal a little bit better, but they just don't get it. I don't know why they didn't get it. And her bed sore got so big I could see her bone. It got so deep and it got so big, and it was so sad to see that, because she was in so much pain and there was nothing I could do. There was no way she was going to heal that ginormous bed sore. And you guys, I am not exaggerating. If you are watching this, I am not exaggerating on the size of my mom's bed sore. It was literally this big. This was, I don't know, it's maybe like 14 inches wide. It was maybe like 10 inches 10 inches this way, 14 inch. It was huge. And then there was a part in the middle where I could see some of her bone from her back. I'm not even kidding. Like, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? It's already gotten so bad. You literally can't do anything about that other than just manage her pain. And so I eventually I eventually brought my mom down or up to where I was living in Austin. I had gotten a 2-bedroom apartment for her to live with us. And she was in her bed all the time until, we had to take her to the hospital because she had to do dialysis, and then she was in the hospital for a few weeks. And so, I'm going back and forth between my home and staying with her at the hospital, and she's just in pain all the time. And it's just like, what do you do? Like, we're just trying to keep her alive. She's suffering, she's in pain. I'm having to give her high doses of morphine, and they're giving her fentanyl patches and literally like these super hard drugs that I wouldn't wish upon anybody to have to take those things. But there was nothing else that could help her with her pain. She had a huge, ginormous, gaping hole on her back. She had diabetes that was literally just making her blood toxic as she just laid there and sat there. She wasn't even doing anything. She could, she was having all these rotting parts. Her body was literally rotting off. And it was so sad to see. And when I had my mom in the hospital, I was the one that ended up taking care of her the last couple months. And I was the one that ended up having to, I talked to her about this. Obviously, I didn't just make this decision on my own. I asked her about it, but I was the one that had to make the decision to put her on hospice. And so we brought her home, just trying to make her as comfortable as possible for her last days here. And I had to take care of my mom and try to make her comfortable and give her high doses of morphine, just so she could go to sleep, just so she could lay there without being in pain. And my mom's having these hallucinations, and she can barely, have a conversation with me. She can barely talk. She can barely think. She can barely move, barely eat, barely drink, barely do anything because her body was just dying, and there was nothing that could be done. Nothing that I knew about, nothing that nobody else knew about, apparently, nothing that the doctors knew about. And so because of diabetes, because an addiction to cane sugar, I had to put my mom in hospice, and I had to take care of her for her last few days of her life. I would say it was close to a month after we brought her home that she stayed in my house, and, was just, she didn't have to go to dialysis anymore. We just, let her eat if she wanted to eat something and drink whatever she wanted to drink. But, putting my mom through hospice and having to take care of her because of diabetes, because addiction to cane sugar, I had to experience that. And I had to, have all my family come to my house to say goodbye to my mom. I had to sit there and watch her take her last breath. I thankfully got to be there for her when she took her last breath. I am so, as weird as that sounds, maybe to most of you guys, I am so thankful that I was there to be there, that I was able to be there for her last breath. It was a very, very unique experience. I know that God wanted me to be there. I was sitting there with her in her room while she was sleeping, and I was about to get up and go, but God told me, sit down and wait. And I saw her take a funny, weird breath. I'd never seen her take a breath like that before. And so I was sitting there waiting for her to take another breath, and she never did. And so that is the story of how my mom passed away from diabetes. And it's, like I said earlier on the show, it is on her death certificate that she died from diabetes. And so that is why I am really, really strict about being against cane sugar, because cane sugar is the main ingredient in a lot of foods. I listed a bunch of those foods earlier, and so many people think that they don't eat sugar, but I can guarantee you, if you are not looking at the back of that label, you are eating sugar. And I guarantee you, if you think eating a little bit of sugar is okay, but you wake up tired, or you have mood swings, or you're unable to have stable energy from morning to night, you are probably having an issue with consuming too much sugar. So I later learned on about keto, or I actually learned about carnivore before I learned about keto. I had no idea what keto was. I never heard of that when I learned about carnivore. But with carnivore, I have literally helped people get off of their insulin. So you can't tell me that changing a diet does not help people control their blood sugars, because I've seen otherwise with my own eyes. I've seen otherwise with people I know in real life. And like I said, this show can go off into a bunch of other topics about sugar, but I'm really trying to stay on topic with the cane sugar thing, because it is in so many foods, and we give it to our kids. And that's another thing too that really bothers me. A lot of parents give their kids cereal in the morning with orange juice and a banana. Like, yes, those are all different types of sugars, but those are all sugar. And how do you expect your kid to stay focused? How do you expect your kid to have energy throughout the day when it's known that if you eat a bunch of sugar, your blood sugar is going to shoot through the roof and you're going to crash? That's just how it is. That's what happens. And so, filling your kids up with sugar before school, you are setting them up for failure. So I wanted to share some side effects for me personally that I have with cane sugar. And I have tested various amounts with myself, and I recommend you do the same thing for you too, because everybody's body is different. You might be okay. I mean, you might be okay if you eat a little bit of sugar. Will you be thriving? I don't know. Will you be living your best possible life and feeling as happy and glorious and magnificent as you possibly can if you're eating a little bit of sugar? I don't know. I don't think I really know too many people that are super duper happy and content with the way things are in their life that do eat cane sugar on a regular daily basis. I do know some people that eat it on a special occasion basis that are thriving and super healthy, super fit, and older, that eat cane sugar, like maybe on their birthday, or maybe on their birthday and the holidays, and just once or twice a year or something like that. But I don't know anybody that eats cane sugar on a daily basis and is thriving. If you know anybody, let me know, because I'd be curious to see if that is a thing, to know if that really is a thing. 'Cause I don't really know anybody that is that way. So the side effects for me when I eat cane sugar, I did carnivore. For some background, I did carnivore for about 3.5 years, and throughout that time, I did try to eat cane sugar on occasion. Like if I'd go out to eat, I used to be super duper very strict about not eating cane sugar after my mom passed away, and in between the time of when my mom passed away and when I started carnivore. When I started carnivore, there were a few times where I would try to eat cane sugar, or oh, what was it? I think it was bacon, actually. I really try to like get the sugar-free bacon with no sugar. It's just like salt and seasonings. Or I would just get like pure pork belly or pork jowl, like with nothing on it. So I was really strict about that for a really long time. And then I let other social media people influence me to thinking that the 1 gram of sugar in the bacon was okay. Well, a lot of people think that, oh, it was all in your head, like that's why it happened. But I know that that's not true, because every time I go to eat these foods, I'm like, oh, I say one of those sayings, oh, it's just a little bit. It won't hurt me. It's just 1 gram of cane sugar. It's going to be fine. I'm not going to have any side effects. I'm just going to eat it with a bunch of meat. It's okay. It's just 1 gram of 1 gram of sugar in the bacon. Well, first of all, I think the serving size on a pack of bacon is like 2 slices. And if you're a carnivore or keto person, you are not eating 2 slices of bacon. I'll just go ahead and say that right now. So you're going to be eating more than what is on the nutrition facts. So I would eat stuff with small amounts of sugar. And before I did that, I'll tell you, my energy was stable. If anything upset me, I would just roll it off my shoulder and be, whatever, I'd be able to handle it, be able to be like, that's okay, whatever, it's fine. Like, it doesn't like trigger me. It doesn't make me go into an angry frenzy. It doesn't make me like go into a fit or anything like that. It doesn't make me sad and emotional. It doesn't make my mood go from over here to over here to over here. Like, I had super stable mood, super stable energy. And so when I started to try to eat this stuff with this tiny amount of sugar that everyone else was saying was okay to eat, the next day, not even 24 hours later, I would wake up sad. I would be sad the whole day with no reason, zero reason whatsoever. And the day before, I was just living my happy life and everything was great and perfect and wonderful. But then I go and eat 4, 6, whatever, however many pieces of bacon with this 1 gram of sugar. And I would have depression, like slight depression for a day or two until that wore off. And that would be the only food different that I had eaten, was that bacon with that teeny tiny little bit of sugar in there. And so I would test this theory out throughout the years because, like I said earlier, sugar is addicting. And I would still try to eat this small, like, oh, it's a small amount, whatever. I was one of those people that said those things. So if you think I'm bashing you or like making fun of you or whatever, like, I am using myself as an example when I talk about these things. And so when I would eat these little teeny tiny amounts of sugar that everybody was saying it's okay to eat it, it's just a small amount, or whatever their reasoning was behind it, I would have like a depressive episode for a day or two, and I would just be sad and moody, and everything would upset me, and like I would have like a slight mood swing, and I would notice it because I'm not like that. I'm not that type of person when I am eating proper foods that don't have cane sugar in them. And so that is one of the major side effects was, and the one that I dislike the most when I eat cane sugar. And that still happens to me. I will say it's not as severe as it used to be. So I think, over the past 7 years since I started carnivore and have been eating a lot healthier, been healing my body. I think my body can handle it a little bit better, but I still do notice it when I do eat something with a small amount of sugar. I do get sad, and that's the specific feeling that I get, is sadness. It depresses your brain, is what sugar does. And so it made me feel sad, like for no reason. So I really try to stay away from cane sugar for that main reason. Not including that I don't want to get diabetes and have my body rotting off of me. But another thing that I notice when I do eat too much sugar, like, sometimes I'll eat something and just deal with the consequences for whatever my excuse is to eat that poison. But the next day I'll wake up with super duper dark circles under my eyes, like so bad. And I think it's a for me personally, I think it's a liver issue, and my liver has a hard time breaking that down and processing it when I eat too much cane sugar. And that's when I eat a lot of it. Like, and when I say a lot, I don't mean like what a conventional American would consider being a lot. When I say a lot, it's probably like 30 to 60 grams of sugar, which to me, that is a lot. But I think a serving size of ice cream has normally like 50 to 100 grams of sugar. And if you know what a serving size is of ice cream, it's not that big, and nobody eats a serving size of anything, especially ice cream. You're going to be eating at least a double scoop of ice cream if you're getting, if you're getting ice cream and you're eating it at home. So like for me, 30 to 60 grams of just sugar in an item, like that's a lot. Sometimes I don't even eat that much and I still get the super dark circles under my eyes. So yeah, I just, let's see, I think I have, yeah. And also another thing is that I'm unable to maintain my energy throughout the day. I I'm just a little more sluggish. I don't have steady energy. When I'm eating good and I'm eating right and I'm eating enough, I wake up ready to take on the day. I don't drink coffee every day. I literally drink coffee like to drink coffee to enjoy it. Lately it hasn't even been giving me energy, or maybe the one that I have just, oh, you know what? Actually, the one that I have, it doesn't have a lot of caffeine because I got dark roasted, because I really don't like to drink coffee every day, especially because it's just you can really your body can become really dependent on it. And then it also just shocks your adrenals if you're drinking coffee every day. It doesn't do my body any good. It actually like causes me to be more dehydrated, and it gives me cramps and stuff like that if I drink it all the time. So I drink coffee like maybe once or twice a week at most. I actually prefer matcha tea. I like make a matcha latte at home with all kinds of goodies. Um, and like I put protein, and sometimes I'll put butter, heavy cream, all sorts of good stuff on there. Um, but I don't like to be dependent on coffee like that. And so when I am eating right and eating enough, I wake up and I have stable energy throughout the day, and I don't need to take a nap in the middle of the day. And I can wake up at 6 a.m. and go to bed at 10 p.m. and I don't need any pick-me-ups. I don't have my blood sugar crashing throughout the day. And when I eat cane sugar, I do notice that I have trouble regulating that for like the next 1 to 2 days after I ate that. Sometimes it take and then sometimes it takes a little bit longer because it's harder to get back on track once I've gotten off the rails. And so those are some side effects that have happened to me personally that I wanted to share with you guys, to be on the lookout for. I recently, or not recently, but earlier this year, I actually went and got blood work done for the first time ever in my life. I was eating an animal-based diet, consuming meats and fruits only. And so everybody's body is different. I know some people that are thriving from eating this way, but for me, it did not work because I have diabetes on both sides of my family. I became pre-diabetic from eating tons of grass-fed beef and tons of fruit because food addiction caused me to eat a bunch of fruit. I couldn't just I couldn't just eat an apple after eating my steak. Like I could not. First of all, I don't really like apples, but but I couldn't, like, it was summertime. I think it was last year actually, because I remember watermelon being in season, and I live alone. I don't need to be buying a whole watermelon for myself. I'll go ahead and tell you that, because watermelon does have sugar in it. And like I said, even though some people can thrive off of it, for me, my genetics won't allow it. I have diabetes on both my mom's side and my dad's side, and my body just has trouble regulating its sugar. And so I could not do the animal-based diet. It made me pre-diabetic. Can you imagine the first time I ever do blood work my whole adult life and I'm pre-diabetic? I knew, I wasn't at my best health. And but to see that pre-diabetes on a piece of paper, I was like, nope, cutting all that. I know what that is. That's sugar. And I won't ever let that happen again. That's for sure. Um, and so, I definitely encourage you to try cutting it out for a month or something like that, and seeing if you have any improvements if you're in your health. If you have issues with like joint pain, brain fog, mood swings, energy stability throughout the day, I think it's a good trial to do. You have, how long is your life going to be? It's going to be so long. What is 30 days just to try something new out to see if your body benefits from it? God wants us to take care of our temples. God wants us to stay pure and clean as possible. Obviously, we live in the world, so we can't be 100% pure. We can't be 100% perfect. We can't be 100% clean, but He does want us to try our best. And so why not give it a try? If you're watching this, you most likely believe in God, because that's what I talk about on every single episode. I always got to bring Him up, and give Him the glory. But God wants us to take care of our temples. And if you are feeding yourself this poison and you are addicted to this poison, and you might not even know it, but now you're watching this and you're like, well, maybe I do eat too much sugar. I don't know. It's definitely something worth looking into. It's especially if you want to live a healthy and a happy life, which I want for everybody to have a happy and healthy life. That's why I do my show, because I want everybody to be happy and healthy and thriving and living your best life. And so I definitely want to recommend everybody to look into your sugar consumption if you are not thriving, especially. But like I said, everybody's body is different, and you might be able to handle a little bit more than others. But I am the one in my family breaking all these generational curses, and some of these curses are physical. And this one, I will promise you, it is going to be stopping with me. I will not be passing any diabetic genes to my future children. that I have, and I will, make sure of that, as well as a long list of other generational curses I have broken and I will not be passing on to my kids. But you owe it to yourself to be healthy. God wants you to be healthy. God wants you to be thriving, and just want to give you guys some support and some information on this topic that is very important to me, for all the reasons I listed earlier in this episode. And I want to give a huge thanks to all you guys that are watching me on my live today. It really means a lot to me. I really love this new schedule for my show, Fridays at noon Central. It just works so much better with my work schedule. I do work from home, and I want to mention I work for Wise Wolf Gold and Silver, who is also the sponsor of the show. So big shout out to them. But in the gold and silver business, Mondays and Tuesdays have just been, they're typically more busy. I get a lot of phone calls and emails and things like that I respond to. And so Fridays are a way better day for me in that regard. And looking by the viewers on the live count, it looks like it's a better day for you guys too. So I'm really happy about that. And if you guys really like what I do on here, it really means so much to me when you guys use my links. I have affiliate links down below. If you're watching on Rockfin, I will have those links loaded up shortly after I do my show, after I finish the show. But if you guys use my affiliate links, it really helps me out a lot. And when you guys use my links, it helps push me to keep going, and it just puts a smile on my face. And when you use my links, you're also supporting businesses that I fully 100% stand behind. Before I totally end the show, I do want to give some sugar alternatives to anyone wondering. I don't really see too many comments on here, but I want to say the sugar substitutes that I personally use that I don't notice affecting any of those things like my energy and mood and things like that are stevia. There's a lot of controversial information about stevia. Maybe I can talk about it on another episode. And then monk fruit, not monk fruit extract mixed with erythritol, y'all. Monk fruit on its own. You can find monk fruit concentrate, monk fruit extract just by itself. It's in liquid and powder form. And if you are super duper sensitive to sugars, I don't really recommend anything else. I will sometimes do honey and agave, but I have to be super, super careful with that, because if I consume a tablespoon, like more than a tablespoon, I will have dark circles under my eyes the next morning. And, I can't be looking like that if I'm going to be putting myself on camera here with you guys every single week. So I have to be very careful with the stuff that I eat, because I'm not trying to have an ugly face on camera. And so, and also I'm trying to feel my best too. I want to be energized, and I want to not have to rely on energy drinks or energy supplements and things like that just to stay awake to do normal daily tasks. And so that's why sugar regulation in the body is very important to me. And so I just want to encourage you guys to just take a look at how much sugar you're eating in a day, and question everything, you guys. So I want to say thanks again to everybody for being here. I will be here next week. I love you guys. I hope you all have a blessed week, and I'll see y'all next time.